I train every day. I train for war because here is what war happens, sir. This is not a joke. Antelope is the highest and most dangerous facility in this state. Like, this is not a game, sir. These violent things are happening, and I have no choice but to prepare myself because these doors are popping on accident. I guess I was naive to believe that I had what it took because I am institutionalized, sir. I can tell you the truth. I feel comfortable here. I don't worry about time. Time is easy. The thing is trying to learn how to trust people. I can't speak too much on it due to pending litigation, but sir, this is not a what do you call it? A fabricated statement. I have over 84 puncture holes in my body, sir. I've been assaulted over 16 different situations, and 15 of them have been with weapons. I have like 16 stitches and 4 staples in my face for situations that have happened recently. I don't have a problem going to population. If you can manage to deal with the team here and give them the clearance, I have already signed a non-disclosure form saying that I won't hold nobody accountable if something happens to me. But unfortunately, sir, due to my past gang ties and my loyalties amongst those gangs and the sacrifices I've made, I've also created powerful enemies.
We are about to watch a parole hearing out of the state of Utah. I know you might not have guessed it by at first glance, but actually, here in Utah, we see many cases like this. Now, he was just revoked for the fifth time. I'll unpack with all the details of at the end.
Time and place set for a parole violation hearing for Nicholas Martinez. Mr. Martinez, your offender number is 199277. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. My name is Micah Bruner. I'm a hearing officer with the Board of Pardons and Parole. I'll be conducting your hearing this morning. On the monitor, you'll see your attorney, Ms. Conyers, as well as Agent Cabanella from APNP. Agent Cabanella has already been sworn in, remains under oath for this hearing. But Mr. Martinez, I do need to swear you in. So if I could have you please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate?
I do.
Great, thank you. Mr. Martinez, did you receive at least 7 days notice of this hearing?
Yes, I did, sir.
All right, and then did you get your disclosure packet?
Yes, I did.
And did you have a chance to meet with Ms. Conyers in preparation for today's hearing?
Yes, sir.
Very good. All right, looks like we have 2 allegations against Mr. Martinez. Ms. Conyers, how are we handling those today?
Yes, thank you. He'll admit to both of those allegations.
Okay. Mr. Martinez, before I accept your admissions, I need to make sure you understand that you do have the right to require APNP to prove these allegations at an evidentiary hearing. That hearing looks like a trial where APNP puts on evidence to convince a board member that it is more likely than not that you did violate your parole in the ways alleged. You would be given an attorney at no cost to you, through which you could defend yourself by cross-examining APNP's witnesses and by providing evidence of your own, be it through witness testimony or through exhibits. Do you understand these rights?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, and do you understand that by entering these admissions, you are waiving your right to that evidentiary hearing?
I do.
Very good. I'll accept the admissions as knowingly voluntarily entered. We'll revoke your prior parole dates. So I'm going to have a conversation with your attorney and then a conversation with Agent Cabanella. Then I'll come to you, Mr. Martinez, and ask you a couple questions, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, Ms. Conyers, any recommendation or additional information you would like to provide?
Yes, it sounds like why he left the program is he was at the hospital waiting on some paperwork. She was helping him get some medication for his serious health problem. He called to let them know that he was running a little late, and when they asked if anyone was with him, he admitted that his girlfriend was with him, and he said that they may request a warrant because he not only was he running late, but he wasn't supposed to be around anyone, including his girlfriend. So he kind of freaked out, got a little nervous, and then didn't check back in. So that's what led to him leaving the program. This was his 5th attempt at parole. He's been in custody now for a month and a half. What he's asking for is 180 days and another attempt back at parole. At some point, he does hope to interstate compact to Arizona to be with his family. He's already started that paperwork. He in Arizona, he has a welding job with his girlfriend's uncle, and he plans to stay with his girlfriend there. So that is his plan if he's given another opportunity at parole. There are two things that he wanted to correct on his report. It sounds like there was in the aggravating factors, it says that he was named as with an allegation of sexual assault. There have been, he'd like that to be stricken from the report. He believes that this was a vindictive ex-girlfriend. His current girlfriend never made a report, and this is just suspicion only. He also believes that the report is incorrect by saying he's a high-risk sex offender. So he'd like those things to be corrected if possible.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just 1 second. Okay. All right, Agent Cabanilla, any recommendation from AP&P?
My recommendation is there needs to be some sort of, I want to see Nick live in Gen Pop for a little bit, if possible. I think that'd be healthy for him instead of just a high stress environment of maximum security and then that lifestyle. Maybe there's a way that he could be moved to like a programming unit, complete some therapy and programming, whether it's SOTP, something like that. That idea to go to Arizona is a good idea. I definitely don't think coming back to a halfway house is good. That his rap sheet shows that. There's just too many things going on in the center. I think it's just too difficult for Nick to do that there in the center. He'll just run away and not like it. But I think if he could get some good therapy, maybe some trauma therapy in prison to deal with symptoms of being institutionalized could really be beneficial for him. And feel a safer environment versus maximum security is dangerous. You know, there's a lot of fights going on there. I think that'd be helpful for Nick. And after that's done, maybe a review to Arizona could be a good idea. You know, get out of the state. He's new kind of like a fresh start. But definitely, if there's a possibility of getting out of max, maybe he can go do some programming would be beneficial. But I wouldn't recommend CCCs. This is too difficult, and the subscription history shows that.
Okay. And then just to clarify, based off of what was said by Ms. Conyers, when Mr. Martinez was at the hospital, there wasn't a specific prohibition for him being around the girlfriend. It was just that he was with somebody else. Is that correct?
He has no protective order with the girlfriend. He just is unapproved visits.
Gotcha. Okay.
There was no like official protective order barring him from seeing her. It's just at a center, there's a lot of rules on who you can be around and who's to be with called approved sponsors, all that. It's not a place where you can just kind of be with friends and family how you want to do it. It's very kind of controlled environment. So that would be like a technical violation to have family contact outside of what we allow. So that's what I mean with a lot of offenders, they do struggle with those rules at a CCC. And so in and of itself, seeing the girlfriend in the hospital is harmless. But is it a rule that was broken? Yes, it was. A rule that was broken.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that clarification. All right. Mr. Martinez, now's your opportunity to speak. So talk to me just a little bit. Your attorneys kind of explained things. Anything you want to add as to why you absconded?
Well, all due respect, sir. I've been here a lot. I've been going through this revolving door, and my last couple paroles, I haven't seemed to manage how to understand life out there, and it's kind of discouraging, to be honest with you. It upsets me when I see these aggravated factors in these parole violation reports. And if you go back in my history, you'll be able to see it. Now, I'm going to be honest. Do I feel like BCC staff is trying to do me wrong or foul? No, because genuinely that the place has been good to me. However, in a lot of those aggravating factors, all they're doing is trying to grasp for ideas to paint me out to be a monster. When honestly, the way I look, I make that hard enough for myself as it is. I have never, sir, in any of my paroles, have I ever shown any type of sexual deviancy? Have I ever been violent upon anybody? I've had interactions that are heated or debates that are taken as threatening because of the way I talk, but I have never put my hands on nobody. And the thing is I was paroled in February to a residence, to my mom's pad, or house, excuse me. And when I went home, there was some disagreements between my girlfriend and my parents at the time. They didn't really see eye to eye, and let's just be real, you know, love for somebody like me is a very complicated thing, especially trying to go out there and be in a relationship or try to understand what those type of things and life struggles open for, you know. I guess I was naive to believe that I had what it took because I am institutionalized, sir. I can tell you the truth. I feel comfortable here. I don't worry about time. Time is easy. The thing is trying to learn how to trust people. I can't speak too much on it due to pending litigation, but sir, this is not a what do you call it? A fabricated statement. I have over 84 puncture holes in my body, sir. I've been assaulted over 16 different situations, and 15 of them have been with weapons. I have like 16 stitches and 4 staples in my face for situations that have happened recently. I don't have a problem going to population. If you can manage to deal with the team here and give them the clearance, I have already signed a non-disclosure form saying that I won't hold nobody accountable if something happens to me. But unfortunately, sir, due to my past gang ties and my loyalties amongst those gangs and the sacrifices I've made, I've also created powerful enemies. And unfortunately, I can't go and just live and kick my feet up and try to program and try to find better opportunities like the average inmate. And that's because of choices I made. However, I accept those things. But sadly, throughout my time of this trauma, it's hard for me to trust people because 9 times out of 10, the people that stab me are the people that say we're cool. It's like somebody saying they love you and they care about you, and you come home one day, and that's not the story at all. And sometimes we just have to live and take it as goes. But I honestly believe that I have shown no behavior that shows that I'm a sexual predator. And it's hard enough as it is. You hear my charge, and it sounds horrendous. Rape of a child does not sound kosher, cool by any. And then the way I look, it puts me in such a category that people's ideology of me is a monster, no good person as it is. And me not being able to trust people or accommodate to social environments, it's a scary thing. And you can make a disagreement in a day-to-day life that you live, and that would be fine. I speak my mind or I say something, the cops are called and I'm going to die, sir. If they don't know who I am and I don't agree with what they're dealing with because I'm used to correctional staff. But at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is this: either I'm going to do it or I'm not. And I'm not going to blow smoke at you. And I'm not going to sit here and waste your time and make you feel like I'm taking you for granted. I struggle with my mental illness, and I would be more than happy to go to population. I'm trying currently. However, there is an administrative segregation safety upon me because every time I'm housed around my rival gang members, which are 2 very powerful gangs in this prison, unfortunately, sir, violence occurs. And I'm willing to accept that. I'm willing to chance it every time. And I've shown that. And that's why staff has taken to the fact of segregating me and leaving me in max. But what I am trying to do is I'm trying to find better things in my life, better people, better understandings of what life really consists of, because all I want to do is make people proud of me. And I love my parents dearly. I love those that have been there for me from day one dearly. And unfortunately, I've let them all down. And no matter how wrong I feel what they've done to me, I don't have a choice but to forgive them because I've left them alone. And I don't know how to try to be something different without that possibility, because I go from an environment, sir, where all due respect, I train every day. I train for war. because here is what war happens, sir. This is not a joke. Antelope is the highest and most dangerous facility in this state. Like, this is not a game, sir. These violent things are happening, and I have no choice but to prepare myself, because these doors are popping on accident. These things are happening to me on accident. Not once have I ever tried to blame you. I haven't wrote no grievances. I haven't lawsuited, even though I got action on a lot of them. It's because I'm just taking accountability for the lifestyle that I chose. Sometimes if it happens, we all make mistakes. But what I am trying to do is hopefully I can do something, like try to get the help I can do. But maybe going out of state or paroling to a residency would be the best thing, you know? And I try to self-medicate with drugs, and that's really it. But I feel like there's a lot of aggravated factors that ain't true that make me.
Let me jump in here, Mr. Martinez. Just, we're short on time, and you've given me a lot of information, but I have a couple of specific questions I need to ask. Do your physical issues would they keep you from being able to perform well on parole?
Not necessarily. I do have a heart surgery coming up again, because I do have a very life-threatening heart disease that I was just born with, and I'm scheduled for surgery in the next, I think, 8 months, roughly, to go get open heart surgery again. But I usually have to get that every like 6 to 10 years.
Okay. All right. Do you have a residence that you could parole to outside or here in the state, or would it just be in Arizona?
I have numerous ones. It just really depends on AP&P and what they're willing to work with me on.
Okay.
I have a few different.
All right. What would be your number one choice? What city would it be in?
Well, honestly, at this point, probably here in Utah. But I have one here in Utah, but Arizona, it'd be in Glendale.
Okay. What about here in Utah? Where would you parole to?
Well, I got a place in Provo. I got a place to go in Harriman or Twilla.
Okay. And that's all with family or friends?
Yes, family.
Okay. You were written up for using the phones when you weren't, or using somebody else's PIN?
Oh yeah, I was in RNO, and somebody. So I ran out of minutes on my phone, and I had somebody do a three-way for me. So we're only allowed a certain amount of minutes a month, and there was a certain cop that was upset with me that day prior, and he had just watched me and monitored it. And somebody that did have minutes allowed their family to make a three-way call for me, and he caught me doing that.
Okay.
On 2 different occasions.
All right. I think we've addressed everything I need to. So after today, I'm going to take my report to the board. They'll deliberate. They'll make their final decision. Once they've done that, they'll send you a letter in the mail. And they'll post it online, so you can find out. Waiting for that letter, or talking to somebody on the outside who can look it up on the internet. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Likewise. Thank you for your time.
You know, the man's articulate. I'll give him that. And he also didn't seem at all to be asking to not get revoked. It was more like he was lobbying to be in general population. It's like he really has given up on being on the outside. He said it himself. So I guess you can kind of give credit where it's due in that sense. But why he's initially in, you know, is here he is. I know you can't recognize him. Pretty crazy, right? So he sexually assaulted a 13-year-old, and he received no jail time. So it's interesting for those who want to make the arguments, well, young people, they shouldn't get prison time. They should be given second chances. This obviously worked out great for him, didn't it? It's not his only offenses. We'll go over the other ones. And so a Tool man who pled guilty to first-degree felony attempted sexual assault of a child avoided incarceration and was instead sentenced to sex offender treatment, a program, of course, and 10 years on parole, which he immediately revoked, and we'll get into that. Nicholas, who was 19 at the time that he committed this offense, and now he is, I'll give like the range, I guess. Man, he's He's young. He's 32, about, give or take a few years. So that's some transformation, isn't it? Shit. Okay. 13-year-old girl in August said that he was in love with the girl and that she was his girl and that they had had sex. According to a probable cause statement, when police interviewed the girl, she told them that she was also in love with Martinez. The original charge was for first-degree felony sexual assault of a child and second-degree felonies. Okay. But the charges were dropped because he was just a child, obviously. And they were amended. Yep, Martinez was sentenced to 6 years to life in Utah. And again, this is the Utah joke. They have to life. They like to add that. And you might say, wow, they're real strict on stuff. But it is a gimmick. It is a gimmick. Because they like to parole. As you can see, he's been paroled 5 times already. And he was given probation. So, and both those sentences were suspended based on the recommendation by adult probation and parole that dictates Martinez must complete the sex offender program. And Judge Stephen Henroyd said that while Martinez is no stranger to the law, citing a significant juvenile record, the recommendation was generous and could give the young man a chance for correction. Wow. So despite having a long juvenile record, he still should have a chance at correction. That doesn't make any sense. You know? It just doesn't make any sense. You have a very good chance of getting out from under this very serious thing, he told Martinez at the sentencing, as court Martinez apologized for the incident, calling it a serious mistake. I take full responsibility. I'm very sorry. And I take full responsibility for my actions, he said. Wow, how many times have we heard that one? Gary Tooley, County Chief Deputy County Attorney, said while his office did not have objections to the recommendation, he had really seen probation given without prison time for a crime of this degree. But he doesn't have objections. Clowns. In my 13 years of prosecuting, I think I've only seen this a couple of times, he said in court. Under the conditions of Martinez parole, in addition to completing the sex offender programs, he would, for the next decade, he must also, particularly in regular mental health, and subsequent counseling, have no contact with the victim or her family, including third-party contact. Then, so this happened, right. So this is, and thank you, Richard, for dishing this out. Then, not so long later in 2011, guess what he does? I know everyone's surprised, but a police officer was expected to be out of action for several weeks. So he takes a police officer out of action several weeks after he hit him in the face with a hammer. So this judge, without objection from the DA, gives him probation for sexually assaulting a 13-year-old. And then he goes and hits a police officer in the face with a hammer. Surprise, surprise. So at about 4 a.m. Saturday, officers were called to the corner of Jefferson and Patterson and a report of 2 men tagging mailboxes, like spray painting mailboxes. When officers arrived, the 2 men ran and police gave chase. An officer chased 1 man into a backyard. Imagine doing that knowing you're backing 10 years. But, you know, judges and DAs, they don't understand that these kids, maybe they need time to help them, right? The man then turned and began fighting with the officer. The man punched the officer several times in the face. It was only after the fight was over that the officer realized at least one of the blows was with a tool, a hammer, used to break into the windows. That cop is so lucky he got away with his life. Backup officers helped take Pablo, 19, to custody. He was arrested for investigating numerous charges, including aggravated assault, assault on prisoner, criminal mischief, and intoxication. Police were also able to catch the second man, Nicholas, who was 19. This happened literally within months of of his other conviction. So, self-assured claim suspicion, dangerous weapons, intoxication. The officer's name was not released. Yeah, what a shocker. So there you have it. There you have it. Utah. Now they will have another chance at parole because they came in with the answer. I can't remember if I told you that or not. We'll have another chance at parole in a year, June of 2025. And keep in mind, he has a life sentence. His when you look at the spreadsheet, you're like, wow, they're real strict in Utah. His full term date. It's too funny. His full term date is 21. So it's January 7, 2111. But meanwhile, he's been paroled 5 times. He's been revoked 5 times. And he'll get another chance. But he doesn't even seem to want a chance. He just wants to be in population. Like, when will they get the hint? He said it himself. He's institutionalized. Give him credit for it. You're going to keep releasing him until maybe he just kills someone just so he ends the trial and tribulations for himself? Can't make it up. And with that, I'll let you go.